It's a triple header Saturday in the ACC on your regional sports network. The Kent State Golden Flashes have the same starting five for the 10th straight game this year. 4 guards, 4 juniors, and 1 senior. The point guard, Jalen Avery. And for Louisville, Quan Four in Chris Mack starting 5 for the 2nd straight game after he made his first start against Lipscomb on Wednesday night. With a win today, Rob Senderoff in his 8th year at Kent State would match Jim McDonald for Kent State's school record in wins. 148 wins to become the all-time winningest coach for the Golden Flashes. Chris Mack is looking for his 8th win as the coach of the Cardinals. Of course, he won a lot of ball games at Xavier, 215 of them over his 9-year tenure. Cardinals have size, won the tip, and Kristen Cunningham will run the show for Louisville at the start. Jordan Wara hits Sutton, backdoor for the stop.
That's the play that we saw them run today. They wanted to be able to get the ball into Sutton. Nice pass by Wara.
Dwayne Sutton has really emerged after scoring just 15 points his first 3 games. He's averaging 10 a game since. Was big offensively in the second half on Wednesday night. How will Kent State handle this Louisville defense? Here's Avery for 3.
That's one of the things that they do really well, is being able to run their offense. We talk about that backcourt and the fact that they are dynamic, not afraid to pull it up from 3.
How did they beat Vanderbilt? By hitting a bunch of threes early and setting the tone.
We talked to Senderoff earlier, and he said that what they want to do is they want to try to get some turnovers. They understand that they're smaller than Louisville. They want to be able to push up into them and be aggressive.
Louisville's first turnover. Cardinals had 17 turnovers on Wednesday night. It was pretty amazing. You look at the numbers and try to figure out the math of them. Louisville out-rebounded Lipscomb 49-35, but Lipscomb had more field goal attempts in the game, in part because of the turnovers. As the Flashes give it away, and Quan Four gets it too.
Quan Four is that guy. He's a very good defender, gets in passing lanes, and also very athletic for his size, being able to finish.
90 seconds gone, Cardinals by 1. Just the second ever meeting between Kent State and Louisville. Schools separated by about 350 miles. Kent State made the bus ride yesterday, practiced at Xavier on their way to Louisville. Inside, Whittington with the clock winding down, and the rebound for Cunningham. Inside, Whittington bumping Enoch. And the lone guy with some size in Rob Senderoff's starting lineup, Whittington, they want to keep him out of foul trouble if they can.
Well, that's one of the things they want to do, but Senderoff basically talked about he's got 4 guards out there, and he's going to try to create some opportunities with their defense. They have to stay big, and obviously they have to match up with Louisville's size.
For the Richmond transfer to Cunningham, the Stanford transfer. Chance for a 3-point play.
Christian Cunningham was trying to get the ball inside to Enoch, realizing that had a little bit of advantage, was able to adjust. You see right here, wanted to get the ball inside to Enoch, not having it, absorbing that contact, great ability to finish. We talked with Chris Mack and the fact that he loves Cunningham and the fact that he's one of a solid guy that can get their team into what they need. And in the ACC, you definitely need to have a veteran point guard.
Cardinals are 3 for 3 from the floor. TJ Williamson picked up the foul as Cunningham converted a 3-point play. Louisville's been very, very good from the line so far this season. Whittington makes the catch to the corner, and that's good.
Nice pass by Whittington, getting over to Williamson. Earlier we talked, one of the strong points for this Kent State team is that they're not afraid to put it up from 3, coming out really aggressive.
2 teams that combined 5 of 6 from the floor. And Sutton unable to finish at the rim. Loose ball goes to Kent State. Jalen Walker at the scorer's table, set to make his first appearance. And it's not often that a guy comes off the bench to become the Hardy star to watch, but he's that good.
Well, we talked to Rob Senderoff earlier about Jalen Walker, and since he's been back, obviously you see the numbers that he's put up almost 25 a game, 50 from 3. Asking him how long are you going to keep him on the bench, he said, well, since he's been back, we've been winning, he's been playing well. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Senderoff talked about sacrifice, and a lot of different guys have sacrificed. Walker goes to work immediately, almost throw it through the bottom side of the bucket, draws the foul. And we're wondering who's going to guard him today. Dwayne Sutton should be a fun matchup.
Well, I think one of the things that you have to like from Penn State is they've come out and they've been aggressive on both ends, trying to push up and get into the defenders, into the guards on Louisville's team, and on the other end, taking advantage of being able to put the ball on the floor.
So the foul on Sutton, Walker at the line. We have a chance to take a look at our 4 keys to the game from Brian Oliver.
Well, I tell you, Evan, for Louisville, it's important that they dominate the paint. They have to dominate on both ends of the floor. I think they have to take advantage of their size advantage. And then for Kent State, points in the paint. We see that they can shoot the 3, but this is the team also wants to get out in transition and break their guys down and take advantage of that as well.
1 of 2 for Walker. Kent State, like Louisville, a very good free throw shooting team. It was just Walker's 3rd miss from the line in 26 attempts all season. Wara off the bounce, ran into a steadied Frederick. And a loose ball finds Akeem Frederick. The senior just came off the bench for Kent State.
Kent State trying to create some tempo, not allowing Louisville to get easy looks.
Enoch intercepting the pass. Trying to take advantage of the size inside. Enoch's hook comes up short. Antonio Williams the other way. Jalen Avery fakes him. Avery, deep 3. He missed everything.
So one of the things about the Louisville defenders is that they're long. They've got a lot of size, limiting Kent State from being able to penetrate. If you're Louisville, you want to contest those shots.
Chris Mack signed a 7-year contract to become the new head coach here at Louisville. And it feels like he's been here for a while. He feels pretty comfortable pretty quickly. So he doesn't want to wait a few years to win. He wants to win now.
Well, with their non-conference schedule, he has proven that they are definitely a team that this is not a rebuilding year. Most likely with a big win over Michigan State at home.
No good from the corner, Wara, but a foul on Kent State on the rebound action. It's going on Nick Peterson. And we'll get ourselves a timeout. 7-all, 4 minutes in from the Youngson. Nothing decided yet early in the first half. Kent State and Louisville. Hey, everybody. Evan Lepler, Brian Oliver courtside, and it's time for our startup brought to you by the Honda dealers of the Carolinas. Your opening thoughts, first impressions from the first 4+ minutes.
Well, the first thing that jumps out at me at Kent State, they've come out, they've ready to play, knocking down threes, being able to get opportunities to the basket. I think that they are up for the challenge. Obviously, Louisville, they're trying to get the ball inside to Enoch. Kent State has done a really good job with that. I love the fact that they have come out, and even though they're undersized, they have been really aggressive in the beginning of the game.
Louisville has 6 points in the paint so far. Wide open in the corner. Warren got it.
Great recognition by Sutton. Tried to get the ball inside to Malik Williams. Kent State is trying to front and help. Great recognition getting the ball over the Wara. You have to be patient. Wara knocking down that 3.
Jordan Wara has already surpassed his totals from a year ago in points, rebounds, blocks, seemingly every category. Jalen Walker shows what he can do off the bounce.
Walker's one of those guys that you have to put multiple defenders on him because he can put it off the bounce. He can shoot it straight up. Love the fact that he's super aggressive and plays within himself. Very efficient.
He is now 19 of 36 from 3 for his season. Sutton threw it away.
Talk about putting someone in the blender right there. You see the nice little step back, being able to create some separation. Walker's that guy. That 25 is not padded. 25 points, and you see 50+ from 3-point line. And this is the guy that will put it up, but he has been really efficient in the 4 games so far.
Kent State, a veteran team. Bunch of seniors, bunch of juniors. Guys that have been through some tough road games. Walker. No good. Wara has the board. Darius Perry, who started the first 8 games of the year in there. So is Ryan McMahon for Louisville. Malik Williams, who had a couple big shots against the Bisons on Wednesday, out there as well. McMahon always looking for a shot. Darius Perry's 3 rims out. Rebound, C.J. Williamson.
Good defensive possession by Kent State. I think that Louisville has to make sure that with those guys they have on the floor, spacing is really important. You saw it last time. Kent State doing a good job of being able to stop Louisville from being able to penetrate.
Avery for 3, knocks in another. Playing in front of about 40 friends and family. Grew up about 100 miles from here in Covington, Kentucky.
Well, and if you're VJ King, you have to understand the scouting report that a guy like Avery is going to shoot that 3. You have to use your length to be able to contest that shot. Can't give him an opportunity to be able to square up and shoot an open 3.
Pass to the corner, deflected. After falling behind 7-3, it is a 10-3 run right now for the Golden Flashes.
And it seems like they have been able to come out and impose their will on this game. On defense, being able to limit Louisville to only 1 shot, but then on the other end, knocking down shots.
Rob Senderoff has averaged 19.9 wins a year in his first 7 years at the helm. Kent State, the NCAA tournament a couple years ago. On the drive, Perry. Williams on the glass, doubled. McMahon extra pass. Perry to the basket. Draws the contact from Dooling. He'll go to the line.
Second chance opportunity. You saw Williams be able to come up with that rebound. You see penetration by Perry, observing that contact.
Ouch.
You hear it again. Penetration, coming down, falling hard.
Is he thinking about the paint at the free throw line right now?
From what I've heard, he's a tough kid. A guy that doesn't shy away from contact, uses his athleticism. I think that's one of the things that you see Chris Mack going to his bench, making another substitution. Louisville has to put their imprint on this game right now. I think that right now Kent State has come out and has been the aggressor on both ends.
1 of 2 for Perry, who did bounce back from a couple subpar games. He was 0 for 10, only had 2 points against Central Arkansas and Indiana combined. Then it was 3 for 4 on Wednesday. Chris Mack admitted to us, saying we have some guys who are playing great and other guys who need to start clicking.
Well, I think he's a guy that has a lot of detail. We saw it in practice where he's emphasizing a lot of different things, and he wants to make sure that his team emphasizes the right things. And I think sometimes when you focus so much on defense, sometimes you may lose it a little bit on offense, and that's one of the things that they need is a secondary scorer to step up with Jordan Wara.
Third Kent State turnover on the travel under the bucket. By the way, Les Jones, Tim Comer, and Jeb Hartness, the 3 officials today. Williams for 3.
Nice play by Williams. That back cut by McMahon, you have to honor that because he's a guy that can score. Defense steps off a little bit. Malik Williams is a guy that's shown that he's more incapable of being able to knock down that shot from behind the arc.
Looking very comfortable shooting from outside. Walker pressured by Perry. Tries to spin through him, and he's not going to get away with a travel. There's some aggressive defense.
And that's what Louisville needs, is to be able to not limit. You see Walker trying to spin out of contact. Louisville not bailing him out. And these are the things that Chris Mack is telling that he needs guys to pay attention, especially a guy like Walker who can score in a numerous amount of ways.
Playing in his 92nd game as a Golden Flash. Enters 12th in Kent State history in scoring over 1,300 career points. Under 12 to play in the first half. Cardinals by 1. McMahon lays it off. And a chance for 3.
Great play set up by Ryan McMahon. You have to honor his ability to shoot the 3. Not settling, being able to understand and get the ball inside. See him drawing the contact, getting the ball over to Malik Williams. Louisville on a run.
Louisville Cardinals 6-0 at home so far this season, leading Kent State by 3 with 11:42 to go in this first half. The Golden Flashes are 3-0 on the road so far this year. They're one of 6 Division I men's basketball teams that are perfect on the road with at least 3 games. Best start since 2012, 2013, when in Rob Senderoff's first season they started 8-1. Kent State started 10-0 for Jim Christian, now the BC head coach, back in 2002, 2003.
Well, one of the things, obviously, for success is that you need a veteran backcourt, and that's something that they definitely have, and Avery and Walker. And then they play really good defense. I think one of the things that they have been able to do this afternoon is not allow Louisville to get their easy looks. They've made a lot of their shots challenging and contested, and that's a good recipe for victory, especially on the road.
Kick out, Williamson takes it. Sutton has the rebound. Malik Williams off the bench already has 3-point plays in 2 different ways. Nice pass from McMahon to Sutton inside.
Nice pass by Ryan McMahon. Malik Williams doing a good job of coming out of that double team, not forcing the issue. Louisville does a good job of being able to space. Great ball movement, getting Sutton that open shot.
At 3 distinct runs, Brian, in the first 9 minutes. It was 7-3 Louisville, and then a 10-3 run from Kent State, and now 9 straight from the Cardinals.
Well, one of the things, too, if you watch Ryan McMahon play, you think that he's just a good shooter. I love his presence and being able to recognize, you see, last time, that nice shot by Whittington.
Drive and dish. Whittington gets the deuce. Antonio Williams averages about 3 assists per game, picks up his first today. Perry thought about it. B.J. King will take it. He's having a tough time finding his shot lately for Chris Mack's team.
One of the things you've seen from Kent State is that they've committed to doubling the post. That last time, Sutton being down in the post, them being able to force that out. Louisville doing a good job of being able to spread the ball and try to get those open opportunities.
Nearing the midway point of this first half, Kent State, winners of 6 in a row. Their only loss was a home setback against Liberty. Liberty team coached by Richie McKay, that's sitting at 8-2. There's Whittington, nice move with a righty finger roll.
And Whittington has been one of those guys from the beginning of the game. He's been calling for the ball, being able to understand where the position is. There's times where he'll pass it out. Love his aggression on the post.
Kent State back within 2. Rims out for Williams. And Walker fouled by Sutton. That's number 2 on Dwayne Sutton.
You see Whittington going down. I love the big man's post move, being able to back Malik Williams down, understand that he's going to take his time, see if there's going to be a double. That last time being able to get the ball over his left shoulder.
So Sutton to the bench with 2 fouls. Antonio Williams picked up by King. One thing that Rob Senderoff said about his team that he was so impressed with was how unselfish they played as a backcourt. You can see it on this possession. Avery, nice dish. Walker unable to get it off cleanly, and the Cardinals have numbers the other way. Thor was thinking big, and he'll get to the line, fouled by Williams.
So see, one of the things that Louisville wants to do is they want to create some opportunities for themselves. That last time, playing defense and being able to get out in transition. On Ford being able to go to the basket. You see deflections and out and running. You see Ford trying to decide how it's going to go, and then challenging Williams on that last time.
Would you have liked to seen him dish it there?
Well, there's a part of me that can't fault him for attacking the rim, but a nice little drop off to a trailing Jordan Ward may have been the best thing. But at the end of the day, Chris Mack, you want your guys to be aggressive. You want them to be rewarded by playing really good defense.
Juan Four has a sociology degree from the University of Richmond. He played for Chris Mooney in the Princeton offense. It's obviously become very common in college basketball for guys to transfer to play for multiple coaches. You're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. To learn all these different systems and not to get to really become established in one.
Well, I think in today's game is that you have some guys that may not be as highly recruited. They go to a program, have some success there, and then they have the opportunity to be able to transfer to a better program. And who wouldn't want to play in the ACC, one of the top conferences in the country?
Great point. From the elbow, it's Enoch.
Stephen Enoch with a nice little turnaround jumper. That's one of the things that if they can get him going and get him to score consistently, that takes the offense up to another level. You already know what you're going to get from him on the defensive end as far as defense and rebounding.
10 to shoot for the Golden Flashes. Trailing by 5. Cardinals crowd crescendos. And Avery's 3 off the back rim. B.J. King another rebound. King looking to attack, and he's called for an offensive foul, bumping his shoulder into Peterson's chest. Get ourselves a timeout. First foul on King. Cardinals by 5 here in Louisville. 22-17, Louisville leads Kent State with 7:51 to go in the first half. Dalen Avery has been sparkling from an assist to turnover standpoint, but it was like a comet just passed by. He was charged with a turnover a couple minutes ago. It was his first turnover in 203 minutes on the court. He had 27 assists without a turnover. The D1 record this decade, 29 assists, courtesy of our man Ken Palm. 3 different guys. Creighton's Antoine Young, Iowa State's Monte Morris, Stephen F. Austin's Trey Pinckney, all at 29 assists straight without a turnover. Dalen Avery couldn't get there, but he's still been pretty good. Penn State wants to travel on Enoch. They don't get it.
Yeah, if you're Cunningham, I don't think you give that to your big guy, Stephen Enoch, outside the lane right there. Obviously, you want to put your big guys in position of success.
10 to shoot. Here's King. Wild cross-court pass. 4 saves it. Now Cunningham saves it. Looks at the clock. Takes the 3. Puts it in.
Christian Cunningham being able to save what could have been an easy turnover. If you're Chris Mack, you say, yeah, this is exactly how I drew it up.
You think Coach Mack would say he drew it up that way?
Cunningham has been that guy that all season long has been steady. And I love the fact that his court presence, he didn't panic, being able to realize that he's got enough time to be able to size up his defender and knock down that 3.
He can make some tough shots. You can see that. Walker narrowly avoids the turnover, and Roberts spots up and answers. The freshman from Detroit with just his 4th 3 of the season. That's a big shot.
Nice shot by Roberts. Louisville is basically trying to defend Walker by committee, understanding that you always have to have some kind of help presence because, again, we see him being able to score it at will.
Fouls on 4 after the Roberts steal. Check out the sequence from 4 and Cunningham.
First of all, amazing save by 4. And then Cunningham being able to check the shot clock, understanding he's got enough time, and he sized him up, being able to knock that down. That shows veteran presence.
And then splash for Kristen Cunningham. Cunningham playing his 121st college basketball game today, and he started them all. And Jeb Hartness wanting some maintenance on the court. Little sweat that needed to be wiped off, and now we'll play basketball again. 6:18 and ticking here in the first half. Tough part of the schedule for Kent State. They're at Louisville, and then next Friday they're at Oregon State out in Corvallis. Good defense by 4. 1 on 3. 4 draws the foul.
Juan Ford, one of his strong points is that he's not one of the tallest guys for a 2 guard, but then in talking to Chris Mack, he loves the fact that he's a guy that's got strong strong legs, and he's a defensive nightmare for most guards. Knows how to be able to stay with his man, get in the passing lanes, and I love the fact that he's unafraid to be able to go to the basket and absorb contact.
Saw Antonio Williams at the table. Imagine he'll come in for C.J. Williamson, who just picked up his second foul. Bumping 4 on the drive. 4 originally from Huntsville, Alabama. He was a New Year's Eve baby. He'll be 23 years old at the end of this month. The Kent State bench. Tim Comer was over having a chat with Rob Senderoff. And not exactly sure what that was about. 4 will get one more at the line. Senderoff was on Kelvin Sampson's staff at Indiana, also an assistant at Towson, Yale, and Fordham. (27-20), 6 minutes to go in the first half.
Last few possessions for Kent State, not being able to run their offense. A couple of ill-advised passes. I would imagine that you need to get your offense and get a good play this time.
Les Jones explaining his call to Chris Mack before he signals to the table that Kristen Cunningham has picked up the first personal for him. Really impressed watching Chris Mack run his shoot around this morning. Just a calm but commanding presence.
Well, and he's a guy that focuses on details, and he goes over a lot of different things to make sure that everyone's on board. They understand what's required of them on both ends of the floor.
Walker, tough shot. Wara had the rebound. It tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Frederick. Louisville ball.
Darius Perry, that last possession, being able to get right in the chest of Walker, not allowing him to be able to get that shot up. Understanding athletically, he can move his feet and get to the same position. That's one of the things that he does well for Chris Mack's ball club.
Chris Mack was asked at ACC Media Day about his schedule, and he referenced the quote that his mentor Skip Prosser said, you don't sharpen your teeth by eating oatmeal. So,
well, and I admire a lot of coaches that do that, because a lot of times in the non-conference you have some teams that are always trying to stack up wins. As you see Christian Cunningham trying to keep his composure and not lose it for this trap. But back to your point, Evan, is that I've always been an advocate that if you're a dog, you've got to play really good teams. You don't get stronger by playing cupcakes. And Chris Mack is one of those guys that believes in playing tough competition.
But you also want to find yourself, you want to prove to your team. You don't want to experience what Syracuse experienced earlier today when Old Dominion went in the Carrier Dome and stole one.
Well, and Syracuse is one of those teams that I still think that if you're Jim Boeheim with the guys that they have, they've hit a rough patch. But I still think that once you get into conference play with what you have, that gives you an opportunity to be better rather than having a false sense of security.
That's fair. 8 points now for Cunningham. The Cardinals' lead is 9 after Frederick picked up the foul. Roberts slithers through the lane, kicks it out for Avery. Now Walker rejects the screen, goes to the basket, denied by Wara. And Bodies getting physical here in Louisville.
How about that level of intensity on both sides? You see Kent State not backing down. Darius Perry basically said, hey, we're definitely taking this game serious. You see the last opportunity. Everyone going for the ball. And I think you've got both guys fighting for the ball and exchanging holiday pleasantries.
And Darius Perry inviting Akeem Frederick over for a little holiday party. Well, Frederick gives Kent State some size off the bench. Senior from Columbus, transferred from Sinclair Community College, where a couple of years ago he was a second-team D2 junior college All-American. Now he'll go to the bench.
Well, if you're Rob Senderoff, you talked about the fact that they've had success on the road. This is what you want on your team. And I wouldn't call this a hostile environment, but when you're on the road playing against a really good team, you want your guys to be able to step up and be aggressive. And that's one of the things that his team so far in the first half has been able to do.
Avery to Walker. Roberts has made some plays off the bench. Shot clock's at 7. Inside, Whittington spins baseline. Nice move.
How about that move from Whittington? We talked earlier when he was in the game, not afraid, asking for the ball, yelling over his teammates that Malik Williams can't guard him.
Whittington, 6 points, 3 of 5 from the floor. Nwora from the corner.
That's one of the things that I think I've seen the difference in Jordan Nwora's game from last year to this year is him being efficient and not afraid of the moment, realizing that Kent State comes down and you're able to match that with knocking down a 3.
How clutch has he been for this team so far this year? Roberts only had 3 threes in 9 games played. He's come off the bench in the first half on the road at an ACC foe, knocked in a couple from the outside, and then there's Jordan Nwora. Says, this is my house.
No hesitation, and Chris Mack is basically the type of coach. If you play hard on the defensive end, he's going to give you a little bit of a freedom there. Louisville faithful letting their Cardinals hear it.
By the way, that last shot for Roberts was called a 2 on the floor. Jordan Nwora has been quiet so far, but the last 2 trips, he's scored 6 points for Chris Mack's team. The lead up to 11. On a cool day outside, Louisville Cardinals are 5 for 7 from 3. Sizzling from the outside, and Jordan Nwora back-to-back threes the last 2 trips. You talked earlier, Brian, about the jump from last year to this year, really in every category.
Well, you see last year 5.7 points a game, and that was more of playing off the bench as a role player. This year has stepped up to 18, and I think that you see him, he seems like he has a little bit more confidence, a little bit more swag to his game. I like the fact that he didn't come out and just start gunning it from the beginning of the game. He's played within himself. We talked about how Chris Mack is talking about he wants him to evolve as a defensive presence. There are a couple of times where he's challenged shots at the rim. This last 2 times, deciding that, hey, my team needs a little bit of a push, knocking down those 2 threes.
Free throw no good for Walker, and the rebound finds Nwora, who's really comfortable in these raw conditions outside. He grew up in Buffalo. His father was a coach, is a coach, head coach at Erie Community College in Buffalo since 1999. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Perry draws the foul, splitting the double team. We've seen the Cardinals do that a couple times.
Well, and I think that they've taken their time and not rushed it. Kent State is going to try to trap, especially somewhere close to the sideline. As you talk as we narrow the end of this first half of 3 minutes, I'm a little intrigued about Jalen Walker. He's that guy that came out, was super aggressive at the beginning. Louisville has done an amazing job of being able to switch and put length on him. They have defended him by committee, putting multiple guys in help side position. And if you're Rob Senderoff, as you go to the half, you want to try to make sure that you can get him going because he's the guy who's providing a lot of punch for you as far as scoring.
Senderoff's big man Phil Whittington just picked up his 2nd foul. Meanwhile, Darius Perry at the line. 19-year-old sophomore from Marietta, Georgia. 1 for 2 at the line. And they get the foul on Williams. This is first. But it will be free throws at the other end. That's the 8th team foul on the Cardinals. So that's kind of a Cardinal sin, no pun intended. Foul 90 feet from the bucket like that.
Well, as Whittington goes to the line, I will tell you one of the things I've been impressed with early in the first half is just on the inside. He's a guy that's been calling for the ball. I love his skill set. As I bragged on him too soon, missing the front end of that 1-and-1.
Whittington's the guy you do want to put at the line. He has been miserable, 38% so far this year, and he just missed another front end. Perry off the dribble to the basket.
Nice move by Darius Perry, realizing that he had an opportunity to be able to get by his defender. Love the fact that he can finish with both hands. To finish.
Largest lead of the half for Louisville. They've made their last 5 field goals. Currently on a 6-0 run. How will the Golden Flashes respond? A lot of dribbling from Walker. He draws the foul, and he'll get 2 at the line.
Last time Walker's got that in this game. On the other end, you see Darius Perry being able to get by his defender, finish with the left. Very athletic for his size.
Perry did just pick up a second foul.
Well, and the way that Jalen Walker plays, they give him a lot of freedom to be able to create. And when you're playing a guy like that can knock down the three, can get by you, he gets into the lane and he's able to kind of maneuver a little bit, draws the contact. A difficult guy because he's a scorer.
Cunningham back in. Kean Frederick returns as well. Jalen Walker a couple years ago was the MVP of the MAC tournament. To this day, he says that's still his most memorable athletic achievement. When Kent State, they were not one of the top seeds heading into the tournament a couple years ago and made a heck of a run all the way to the dance. Trying to be a little too ambitious with that pass was McMahon. Williamson to Frederick. No, he missed it at the rim.
I think Frederick, looking at Malik Williams there, underestimated not being able to finish. That would have been a great opportunity for them to chop into this lead and cut it to 10.
McMahon trying to shake free of Roberts. Now Cunningham with 11 to shoot. Williams spots up. Rebound Wara. Right back up, no. And Williams and King kind of stole the rebound away from each other. It will remain Cardinals ball.
Kent State missing a great opportunity to be able to come up with that rebound and cut into this lead with a little less than 2 minutes left to go. You can't give Louisville an opportunity to get those second chances because of, with their height and athleticism, they're going to send a lot of guys to the offensive glass.
Ryan McMahon has no shots in this first half. Well, 8 minutes.
And the Kent State guards have done a really good job of being able to recognize that he's a three-point shooter and force him to put the ball on the floor.
Cunningham sets up Williams. He'll take it and make it.
Frederick has got to recognize is that when the Louisville guards penetrate, that he can't lay off of Williams too much because that's something that he's going to flare. He's not going to dive much. He's going to flare for that kick out.
Williamson unable to answer. Peterson on the line. Cardinals ball. Louisville now 6 of 9 from beyond the arc. Wara is 3 of 4. Williams is 2 for 3. Cunningham hit the shot late in the shot clock.
Well, Evan, with the lineup that Chris Mack has on the floor, you've got Malik Williams as your 5, and then VJ King as your 3 and Wara at the 4. Those guys can basically switch out and puts a lot of pressure on the guards from Kent State. As you see Cunningham being able to go in for an uncontested shot.
Kristen Cunningham, the first double-figure scorer in the game today. Avery on the drive, able to answer. 8 points now for Jalen Avery. And the shot clock is off. Louisville looking to take a lead of at least 15 into the locker room. Maybe more. Cunningham, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists already. With 5, Kristen Cunningham from the foul line puts it in.
Kristen Cunningham filling it, going into the half. A little crossover to be able to get the separation to put the Cardinal up by 17.
Kristen Cunningham with a strong first half for Louisville. 12 points, perfect from the floor and from the line. And the Cardinals, after a nail-biter on Wednesday, a comfortable halftime lead today, up by 17. Great day of ACC basketball on your regional sports networks. A triple header of action. And at the half, the Louisville Cardinals close that first half strong to stretch the lead out to 17, which is the largest of the day.
And one of the things that they've done a really good job of being able to break down the defenders of Kent State and get to the basket. I love the fact that Louisville has been real patient, and what they have been doing is being able to kick the ball out. Malik Williams has knocked down some threes. On the other end, they have been able to stifle Kent State and knocking down all those threes. Early in the first half, they got off to a good start, but they've been limited at the end of the second half.
He's Brian Oliver. I'm Evan Leffler. We are in this raucous KFC Young Center, and Kristen Cunningham, who hasn't scored as much the past couple of games, really took charge in that first half.
Well, I think he got into a really good rhythm early. He knocked down some shots, being able to get to the basket, and then there were a couple of times at the end of the shot clock being able to break down his defender and knock down shots. And I think that when you start getting some kind of flow, then the basket gets really big. You see him 12 big points in the first half.
9 apiece for Williams and Wara. Kent State, can they get themselves back within striking distance in the first half of this second half? Peterson for 3. Left it short. Loose ball pinballs to Antonio Williams, who went up without knowing where he was going and lost the ball. So the Cardinals will slow it down right here. Louisville out-rebounded Kent State 16-11 in that first half. I think the Cardinals have done better this year than they did last year as rebound the ball. Chris Mack hoping that continues. He was always known for his rebounding teams at Xavier. 1-4 in rhythm for 2.
We're going back to Chris Mack and what he emphasized. That goes back to that paying attention to details. I think that for him is that you play defense and it doesn't stop there. You have to make sure that you go and rebound, box out your guy. That last time, Quan Ford being able to break down his defender, shot clock, not panic, and get a nice little pull-up jumper.
Walker does start the second half, but he hasn't been able to get it going offensively. 3 chances and no points for the Golden Flashes. Jalen Walker now just 1 of 5. Looking high. Williams comes up with a steal.
Williams doing a great job of being able to finish off that play and not allow Enoch to get that loop. Finish for a dunk.
Good defense by Enoch there. Waiting for the dribbler in the lane. Cross court. Antonio Williams airmails one.
Kent State not starting off the beginning of the second half right. I always thought that the first 5 minutes kind of determines whether you get back into a game or whether you can go blown out.
Peterson the steal, and then Wara off in his jersey. This is the first foul on Wara. Rob Senderoff in his 8th year leading the Kent State Golden Flashes. Coming off a gutty win last Saturday when they closed the first half great and then closed the second half great. They were down by 6 and they closed the first half 18-5, led by 7 at the half. And they trailed Wright State by 5 with about 4 minutes to go. Closed on a 17-5 run, won the game. Only turned it over 8 times last weekend. Up and under Dwayne Sutton.
No one picking up Sutton as he came down, realizing he could do a little up and under. Great move to be able to get the ball and finish under Whittington's arm.
Lead up to 21 for Louisville. Kent State badly needs a bucket. And there's no basket there. Sutton in transition. He'll get to the line.
Dwayne Sutton again being able to understand that you're not going to pick up the transition. You see right now, normally someone needs to pick up the ball. How about the up and under Whittington's arm? And after that, being able to come down again, taking advantage of the opportunity. If you're Kent State, you have to do a better job in getting back in transition defense. You always teach you've got to stop the ball.
Chris Mack gave a nice soliloquy about how important Dwayne Sutton has been to this team, especially after the win against Lipscomb on Wednesday, where Dwayne had 14 points, 9 rebounds, played 35 minutes. And a question I have for you, Brian Oliver, as Louisville proceeds into the rest of the non-conference and then ACC play, who is the number 2 scorer on this team going to be? Is it going to be someone different every night, or do you think someone will step up and seize that torch behind, presumably, Jordan Moore?
I think as they go further along into the conference, then someone will establish themselves. But from Chris Mack, I'm not really worried about that because I've got a guy, a primary scorer in War. I've got a team that defends and rebounds and competes every night. And I think that as long as you're doing that, you're going to put yourself in position. You see Walker being able to come up with a nice basket. But back to the point, I think that the way that they're set up, you got to have a really good backboard play, and Cunningham gives them that as far as being their lead guard, along with all the guards and also Perry and then Ford.
Cardinals are going to hope that the defensive energy can keep them in games. And then you get Sutton sprinkling in some points, and Enoch some nights, and Ford some nights. And Kristen Cunningham's night is tonight.
When you talk about who's going to be that guy, and today it's been Christian Cunningham being able to break down his defender and get to the ball, get to the basket at will. And one of the things I like about him is that he's strong and he can get it. He finishes well around the rim. Being able to recognize when do I look for my teammates and when do I put my head down and go get a basket.
5 for 5 from the floor. He's got 15 points now. His season high was 16 against Marquette. His only field goal on Wednesday night last time out came with 21 seconds left. Made it 69-65. And a pushing foul underneath on Enoch.
So here's another thing I'll tell you as a player is that you look at a guy like Christian Cunningham and coming in this game, you're listening to the scouting report and you're hearing all this talk about Jalen Avery and what he does. You know, players recognize that and they say, you know what, I'm going to step up to it. And you see Cunningham is going at Avery on both ends of the floor, making sure that he limits his touches and then takes advantage of his opportunities on the other end of the floor.
Chris Mack is pleased in the maturity of his team from the standpoint of they're not going to get caught off guard by a Lipscomb or a Kent State. That's 1-6 in a row. Again, if you're joining us late, this is a Golden Flash team that's 8-1, is 1-6 straight, but has not found the bucket much. Now just 1 of 8 in the second half.
Well, I think a lot of that is attributed to Louisville and playing the defense that they have and being able to switch and have guys that get up into the defenders and challenge Kent State. You see Williamson and Whittington not being able to connect for that last turnover.
Without a doubt, the Flashes are flustered. That look says it all, doesn't it? Louisville Cardinals, another good afternoon inside the KFC Yum Center, where they're trying to get to 7-0 this season in this building. The interesting thing, they're not a particularly young team, Brian Oliver. They don't have freshmen, for example, but they're a new team.
Well, they're new in the sense that anytime you have a new coach comes in with his own philosophy, then you try to put in new guys. They've got some grad transfers in here. It's a different process because Chris Mack, he's got a different frame of mind and how he wants his team to perform. Talk about he's a guy that pays a lot of attention to the details. It's important for him that his players understand that as well.
One of the great legends of the Louisville basketball program is the sports information director, Kenny Klein, who's been here since the 80s. And I thought it was an interesting answer he gave when you asked earlier the differences between Coach Pitino to Coach Padgett to Coach Mack. And he said, in some ways with Coach Mack, it's a complete 180.
Yeah, and then some of his guys have to be able to adjust. And so far they have. We were talking with Chris Mack earlier. He was saying that we're playing all of these games. It gives them little time to practice, and he's looking forward to being able to have a solid week of being able to practice.
McMahon missed it. He's still scoreless. The first couple shot attempts of the game. Jalen Avery met by the long arms of Williams and Sutton. 17 to shoot. 5 minutes gone in the second half. That has been all Cardinals until that three from Walker. And who's the foul on underneath?
Nice penetration by Williamson getting over to Walker. I think they're going to call that last foul on Ryan McMahon.
Kent State foul number 25.
They got it on Phil Whittington inside for Kent State.
You see Whittington giving Ryan McMahon a nice little shove down there.
Might have been a riot on the Louisville fans if they call that on McMahon.
Well, a lot of times you get big guys, they get offended when you get little guys like you down in the post. Always trying to hold big guys down like me. Shove.
They did count the 3. Before that, it was 9-2 Cardinals to start the second half. Williams cross court. McMahon, nice pass. Wara rejected, and Whittington knocked it off Wara's foot. That's the Kent State ball.
Good defense on Kent State being able to converge down on Jordan Wara. I think that last time he drove those 2 guys, I'd love to be able to see him pass that ball out. I'm sure as he comes out, Chris Mack giving him the discussion that, hey, you know what, I'm going to give you the green light, but you have to be a better distributor of the ball. Go into those congested spots.
Wara departs. He's got 9 points. Entered the day 5th in the league in scoring, 9th in the league in rebounding. 18 and 8 approximately per game for Jordan Wara. Walker, same spot, same result. And Rob Senderoff takes a timeout after back-to-back threes from his top scorer.
Walker being able to come up with 2 threes, and this is a team that does well. You see Kent State trying to get back into it. Jalen Walker knocking down a 3, trying to chip into that 18-point lead. Louisville up.
Just the second ever meeting between Louisville and Kent State. The first was 67 years ago. Jalen Walker was not born until 1997.
Well,
and he's getting hot.
Well, and he's been able to knock down a couple of threes to chip into that lead. You see 14 points. If Kent State's going to get back in this game, they need him to get rolling. One of the things about this team is that they shoot a lot of threes and make a lot of threes, and that's a good way to be able to chip into this lead. If you're Louisville, you want to be able to get down a good offensive possession and then limit them on the next possession as well.
Golden Flashes are 8-1. They haven't come back from being down at half yet this year. 8-0 when leading at the half, 0-1 when trailing at the half. Force a turnover. Chris Mack get dialed up in the timeout for sure. Looking inside, Whittington, catch and finish.
Louisville got caught sleeping on the run around. Great penetration, being able to get that pass over to Whittington.
8 straight for the Flashes. McMahon feeds it inside. Williams, offensive foul.
Williams dropping his shoulder down. You see Whittington being able to stay square. Anytime you hear a guy square between the numbers like that, that's most likely going to be a charge. And these are the things that allow Kent State to get back into the game, being able to get some stops on one end, knock down some baskets, off to a nice little run.
9 turnovers now for Louisville. Couple in this last couple-minute stretch. Flashes need to get some more points off the Cardinal miscues. Lopside in the points off turnover category. Virtually the difference in the game right now, 17-2. Whittington circles the wagons and turns it over.
Blake Williams doing a good job of being able to defend.
Technical fouls issued to Whittington and Williams for a little chirping after the play.
And those two have been going at it all afternoon. Whittington earlier in the first half being able to say a lot back at Williams. I think Williams basically telling them, hey, can't guard me, that's what you get. Just to a little back and forth, refs decided to put that to an end early.
His third personal foul, 14th foul. And Kent State's number 25, Philip Whittington, his fourth personal foul, 14th foul.
Technicals to Philip Whittington, which happens to be his fourth personal foul.
Number 23, Stephen Young, replaces number 5.
And Malik Williams, who picks up his third via the tee.
Can't be happy for Rob Senderoff because Whittington is that guy that gives you an opportunity to throw the ball inside, and he's been able to go to work.
Cunningham, game's leading scorer with 15 points. Here's B.J. King. Lost his dribble, needs a reset. With 7 to shoot, Sutton draws contact from Frederick. 2 shots coming.
And that's one of the things that Dwayne Sutton does is that he put the ball on the floor. He's so strong. puts a lot of pressure on the defense when he gets to the basket, when that those strong shoulders can absorb the contact and take a smaller guard down.
It's funny, Sutton was very strong as a collegiate freshman in the Big South Conference. Obviously, it means something different to be strong in the ACC. And it took him a little while last year to kind of develop into being an ACC player after he sat out a year following his transfer, won a Big South title as a true freshman. But by the end of last year, he was starting, and he really seems to have found a role as a do-everything type guy for this Louisville program.
Well, there's always a transition period for players when they're transferring over. It takes a moment to get comfortable with the system and then find out what your niche is there. And I think that he's definitely found this. A great penetration finished by Frederick. Great recognition pass by Roberts.
First points for Akeem Frederick. Golden Flashes, trailed by as many as 24, back within 15. Terry, got it. Darius Terry from downtown, timeout called by Mack.
Timeout on the floor.
Just like that, the lead back out to 18 as Perry delivers from deep.
Well, one of the things that Louisville does a good job of being to spread the floor. Great recognition by Dwayne Sutton, seeing Darius Perry wide open. Perry being able to square his feet and knock down that shot. When you talk about Louisville and the fact that they don't have a bona fide second score, I think that the fact that they have guys that can't put the ball in the basket and they do such a good job of sharing the basketball is one of those things that you lean on your defense and then you kind of get that second score by committee.
Perry has now made threes in 7 different games this year. Chris Mack's team is going to get a chance over the next 3-4 weeks to, one, stay home. This is game 2 of a 5-game homestand. Robert Morris, Kentucky, and Miami. The next 3 games before the road trip to Pittsburgh. Hey, look who it is. The new football coach for the Louisville Cardinals, Scott Satterfield, coming to the Derby City from Appalachian State. They are excited about him, and good reason. Talking to folks in Mountaineer Country, they love this guy, and they think that he'll do great things here.
Yeah, and fans here in Louisville are in for a treat because Satterfield is one of those guys that will bring a lot of excitement and a lot of results here to their football program.
Appalachian State football plays at 9 p.m. tonight in the New Orleans Bowl against Middle Tennessee. Imagine he'll be watching that, I think.
I think that he probably will. And it's a great time to be a Louisville Cardinals fan because of what they're doing with the hire of the football coach. And obviously, so far, what Chris Mack has been able to bring earlier in the 2018-2019 season.
Obviously, the Cardinals are measured every year, not just against their ACC opponents, but how they fare against that team that wears blue from Lexington, Kentucky. And 2 weeks from today, Cardinals and Cats here in the Ville.
Well, I think that if you're a coach here, you have to understand the rich tradition here of Louisville. And then obviously you look at the schedule. Robert Morris is not one of those games. It's one of those games that you can't overlook if you're Chris Mack's team. Then you look at Kentucky, and then January 6th starting off ACC conference play against a Miami team at home.
Miami, Pitt, certainly not the top tier of the ACC. A chance to get maybe a couple early wins and then a trip to Chapel Hill. Great game at Chapel Hill tonight. Roy Williams taking on the Zags. Previously number 1 ranked. They're no longer number 1 after falling to Tennessee, but Gonzaga's for real, and that's a rematch of the national title game from a couple years ago.
Yeah, that Gonzaga team is for real. Obviously, most notably knocking off what everyone thought Duke was going to run through the entire league. But then going down to a Tennessee team that this Louisville team had a chance to beat. So that shows that college basketball is definitely an entire interesting moment, especially as you get into conference play.
I wonder, does the narrative set it up for the Tar Heels to get a win at home tonight, or will Hachimura, Norvell, and company be too much? Walker got a pretty good look. He was frustrated he didn't hit it. And now Cunningham totes it the other way with Roberts mirroring him defensively. Cardinals are shooting 58% for the game. That's a high percentage shot from Enoch.
That's one of the plays that we saw them work around and shoot around, is being able to get the ball over, recognize Stephen Enoch on the penetration, being able to catch that ball for the flush.
Just the second basket for Enoch. He's got 4 points. Walker sidestep, knocks it in. The way he tried to pursue the ball, run into the bucket after the release, was surprised that it went in.
You saw Jalen Walker cut his eyes over at Darius Perry, and that's a guy we talk about with a scorer's mentality. Could have actually gotten to the basket, but opted to do the step back for that 3.
17 now for Walker, 11 here in the second half. Cunningham absorbs the contact, plays on, 7 to shoot. King nowhere to go, to Perry with 2. Perry through the hands of Enoch.
Great penetration by Darius Perry. A lot of times with your big guys, you want to throw the ball at the rim for him. And last time, Stephen Enoch not being able to come up with that pass.
Friend Dan Bonner, who was in Pittsburgh earlier today, calls that a buzzer play, where you turn it over, the buzzer sounds, and you get taken out of the game. Frederick feeds back door. Sutton got a lot of ball, but some arm of Williams too. Antonio Williams going to the line.
Williams was able to set up that play with a hard cut, and in the back door, Frederick doing a real good job of being able to recognize it. You see Frederick with that pass, then Sutton being caught. You see a little bit of contact right there. I know Louisville fans not happy with that call.
3rd on Sutton. Antonio Williams out of the Proviso East High School program. Alma mater of, among others, Doc Rivers, Michael Finley, Dee Brown, the Illinois guard, not the Jacksonville star, whose daughter Lexi played at Duke. All ACC women's basketball player. By the way, Louisville Cardinals women's basketball team beat Northern Kentucky in this building earlier today, 92-59. 4 in double figures, career high 21 for Dana Evans. They're going to give Louisville the timeout. Tim Comer awards the stoppage, and the Cardinals will keep the ball about 3/4 of the way through this basketball game. Brian Oliver, the Flashes trying to hang around. They were down by 24. They cut it to 15. Louisville bounced it back out to 20. Now it's a 15-point game again with 10:08 remaining.
Well, one of the things about this Kent State team is that they have the ability to knock down the 3. And they've knocked down a couple of shots, Walker being one of them. And then they've had some opportunities on the other end where they forced Louisville into some turnovers. Anytime when you got a team that can knock down shots, and the way that they play on defense gives them an opportunity to get back into it. To Chris Mack, you tell your guys to get back and settle it down. Stay with our sets and what we've been doing before. We can't allow them to have those uncontested 3-point shots.
Have to imagine Mack reminding his team that Kent State tested on the road. I mean, they've come back from deficits. They were down 8 points with about 90 seconds to go at Detroit Mercy. Unbelievable finish there to get the road win. One of 6 teams in the country to be perfect on the road in at least 3 games so far this year. Sutton for 3, puts it in. A bullseye for Dwayne Sutton. Puts him in double figures.
Shot by Sutton. One of those things we talk about. If he knocks that down on a consistent basis, definitely gives them another guy they can step up for. And you see Frederick knocking down the 3 to answer that.
I think they ruled his foot on the line. Just gave him credit for 2. 63-47. 4 to the basket. Nice move. Gets the roll.
How about the unselfish play by Jordan Wara? Been kind of quiet all day, and has got a lot of attention on being that go-to guy, being able to opt to pass that ball over. You see, could have forced that shot up, penetrating, getting the ball over to Quan 4. And again, 4 is one of those guys we talked about early in the game. Athletic for his size, being able to get to the basket and finish.
Peterson, teardrop, no. Wara the rebound. Yeah, to that point, Brian, today similar to the Seton Hall game in terms of a lot of guys scoring points. Wara on the stick back, right on cue.
And those are the things, if you're Chris Mack, that you're happy about because, again, it's the hustle points, being able to not give up on the play, Jordan Wara being able to get to the basket for that putback.
Wara becomes the third Cardinal in double figures. He's got 11. Sutton with 12. Cunningham, the leader, with 15. The lead is 20. And Avery's rejected by Enoch. Cunningham to Sutton. Right into the body of Williams, and a jump ball that will stay with the Cardinals via the possession arrow.
But I tell you, one of the things that I love is Christian Cunningham's court awareness, being able to get the ball. And you see this last time, pass over to Sutton. And then how about Jordan Wara coming out of nowhere, not giving up on the play, you're going to get that basket. That's one of the things that if you're Chris Mack and you're watching film, you definitely point out being able to get that extra point off of the putback.
Well, Wara has a ways to go to get his scoring average of 18, but he's got his rebounding average. That was his 8th rebound of the game.
Well, so here's that. If I'm Chris Mack, I'm always looking to see where do we get better as a team. As you speak that one, if I thought Jordan Wara was going to knock down that three. When you have other guys step up and you're playing and you're having success for your teammates, that makes you better overall.
Closing in on 8 minutes to play here in Louisville. Anthony Roberts, 3 rims out. There's rebound number 9 for Jordan Wara. He had 22 points, 9 boards on Wednesday night against Lipscomb. Foul on C.J. Williamson. Timeout on the floor. Cardinals lead by 20. Under 8 to play second half. Cardinals 67, Golden Flashes 47. Check out this sequence as we went to break. Jordan Wara getting some coaching from Chris Mack, and then assistant coach Luke Murray will step in as well. This coaching staff still getting to know this team, still learning little quirks about everybody.
And I think this is a great way of being able to bond with your players. You talk about you got, a philosophy that's coming in, and you want to get your guys in. As you see the balance scoring right now, Christian Cunningham with 15 points, Dwayne Sutton with 12. And back to that point is that if you're Chris Mack, you want to be able to have a bond with your guys, because if you've got that bond, then there's a better understanding. They feel like you care, and then they give you that extra effort.
Great catch by our crew. Producer Eric Kendall, director Lonnie Dale, with Brian Oliver, Evan Leffler alongside from Louisville, Kentucky. Akoy Agau, double team, finally hits Perry, who draws contact, and with 1 on the shot clock will earn 2 free throws.
Yeah, not panicking, being able to pass to that double team. How many times have we seen Darius Perry be able to get that ball and aggressively attack the basket and absorbing contact?
Number 2, Darius Perry.
Love his fearlessness of being able to attack the rim.
He's been playing pretty well, 7.6 points per game. Basically double what he did last year. In 36 games, started 3 of them. Perry, a product of Wheeler High School in Marietta, Georgia. And Sharif Abdur-Rahim and Jalen Brown, among others, played their high school hoops.
That's over in my neck of the woods. I live in Smyrna, and Wheeler has a fascinating program. They pump out a lot of good talent. And going back to Perry, Perry's one of those guys that can defend, can score, has a toughness about him. Definitely love his game.
You ever see Brian at a Wheeler High basketball game? Make sure you say hello. Williamson gives it to Walker. Hard drive for 2.
Nice finish by Walker. That time realizing he can get to the cup before he's trying to get that 3 off. I love the fact that he goes aggressively, being able to ward off Agau and finish that basket.
Agau just into the game. Again sees a double team. Cross court 4, back inside Sutton. Third chance for Dwayne. Not the charm. Williamson motors the other way. Walker puts it in again.
Walker passed up on the first jump shot, being able to realize that he's got a gal on him. A gal has to come out and challenge it, force him to put the ball on the floor. Penn State still keeps staying in there. Again, we talked about their ability to knock down a three, gives him a shot.
Walker could use some help. He has scored 16 of the Golden Flashes, 24 points here in the second half. And there's an answer for Sutton.
On forward, being able to penetrate, realize the defense is going to come over. Nice dish over to Sutton. Sutton's been that guy that's been able to knock down those shots when he's wide open.
Sutton's scoring spree continues. Had a season-high 14 points against Lipscomb on Wednesday. Got 15 points here today. It's an interesting week of Louisville basketball. Two what they call bye games at home. But both difficult matchups, and both against teams that Louisville hasn't met in more than 2/3 of a century. Hadn't played Lipscomb since 1936, hadn't played Kent State since 1951.
Well, I think as you get further in the conference play and these teams go on and do well, that's something that adds a lot to your resume when you play against a team like Lipscomb, who's probably going to win the ASUN. Then you got a team like Kent State that's top picked to finish third and could possibly challenge later on. Does nothing but add to your overall resume when it comes down to March.
They'll certainly compete in the Mid-American Conference. Buffalo is the favorite, currently in the top 25. Koya Gao passed up the straightaway look. He hasn't attempted a three this year, but a shoot-around this morning. We watched Koya knock down a bunch of corner threes. Here's a deep one. McMahon left it short. Buffalo, by the way, going to Syracuse pretty soon. Another tough home game for the Orange. Walker, he's on fire, folks.
You can tell that he's feeling that just the way he shoots. But if you're Ryan McMahon, you have to understand that you don't help in that situation, especially with a guy like Walker, who has obviously caught fire.
He's got 25, only had 6 at halftime. Has surpassed his season average of 24.5 per game. Gal, that's more his spot. Double team comes. No. Second effort, no. Walker the other way. Avery. Little teardrop. Short. And Williamson fouls Sutton. And that will be 1-1 at the other end.
That last time where Avery penetrated, thought he should have made a better effort to try to get that over to Walker. Walker right now, you know, he's hot right now. And that last time, realizing he received 19 in the second half. We talked about Walker being quiet and Louisville doing a really good job of shutting him down. In this second half, he's been El Fuego.
In the last 2 seasons, he made 172 three-pointers. He's 6 of 8 from 3 today. For the season now, Brian, Jalen Walker is 24 of 43 from beyond the arc.
Well, if you watch how he gets his shots, I mean, this is not a guy that has the green light and just throws up a lot of shots. He's very consistent in getting to the basket. You see Malik Williams come up with that offensive rebound. Penn State not doing a good job of boxing him out. Back to the point with Walker. Love that he's efficient. He can get to the basket and create his own shot.
So Williams draws the foul after the offensive rebound. And now he'll shoot 2 at the line. And Philip Whittington's day is done. Whittington just fouled out, 8 points, 5 rebounds in 21 minutes. "21-year-old junior from Columbus, Georgia. His day is over. Meanwhile, Williams at the line. Smooth stroke.
I love this game because in today's game, you need a guy like Williams who's long, that can play really good defense and box out. Gives you that guy that also that can stretch and shoot the three-pointer. And what Louisville does, they run a lot of pick and roll. He's that asset that allows you to be able to have a guy that can shoot the three.
Jalen Walker, stop!
Are you kidding me?
absolutely scorching from the floor. Even Rob Senderoff has a grin on his face after that one.
Well, and if I'm the Kent State guards, I find a way to give it to him because, again, the way he's shooting the ball is that if you go for broke and get the hot man the ball.
Quan Four had a good look. Frederick the rebound. Jalen Avery has to get the ball into Walker's hands, you'd think. Nope. They'll take it to the basket, draw the foul. Kent State trying to remain within distance of making a late run here.
You see Walker, he's basically got two guys on him, and he's realizing that, you know what, all I need is just a little bit of distance to throw it up.
Splash.
Nothing but net.
Jalen Avery at the line. Goes into double figures with that free throw. Now 9 times this year in 10 games, double figures. Dwayne Sutton gets a hand as he heads to the bench.
And I thought he's had a really good game. And going back to Kent State, we've seen stranger things happen, partner.
Yes.
Well, 14 with 4 minutes left to go is not a safe lead, especially a team like Kent State that we know that they can put up points in bunches.
We're down 8 with 90 seconds left at Detroit Mercy. Came back to win that game. Closing on a 14-2 run. See if the Flashes have another great late run. 75-61 with 3:55 to go. Time for today's Toyota Let's Go places. Jalen Walker on the team bus along I-71. Got off in an exit, clearly marked the zone.
And he's come out in the second half, and he has been lights out. 7 for 9 from behind the arc. Until that last one, that basically scorched the moon. Anytime he's getting an opportunity to put that back, and he's allowed this Kent State to make it a little bit more reasonable trying to get back into this game. 28 points, 7 for 9. You see 8 for 11 field goals. He has definitely allowed them to be able to crawl back into this game.
Just 2 of 6 from two-point range. 7 of 9 from 3 for Jalen Walker. Meanwhile, there's the leading scorer in the game, if not for Jalen Walker. Louisville's lead man, Kristen Cunningham, has 17 today. Sutton's got 16. Malik Williams, Jordan Wara with 11 apiece.
And if I'm Rob Senderoff coming out of his timeout, I'm running some kind of play to get him a stagger just to get the ball in his hands.
Pretty good defense by 4. So it's Williams, Kent State's number 4, drawing the foul in the lane. He'll get free throws with 3:39 to go. Hope you'll join us next Saturday for another good ACC Hoops doubleheader. First up, new look NC State will welcome USC Upstate to PNC Arena in Raleigh, noon Eastern time, and then we head to the Carrier Dome where former Louisville assistant Mike Bellato leads the Arkansas State Red Wolves into a 2 p.m. tip-off with the Orange. Check your local listings to find the ACC Hoops on your regional sports network.
About Kevin Keats at NC State being able to cash in, and they're locking him down for the next additional 6 years.
You know, it'll be fun when Louisville and NC State get together and former Samford teammates Kristen Cunningham and Wyatt Walker go head-to-head. Those are guys who were teammates at Samford the past few years, now both in starting lineups for good ACC basketball clubs. Cunningham to McMahon, looking for points. He's got him.
Ryan McMahon understanding that he didn't have a clear shot in the 3, and that's one of the things that's improved about his game is that obviously you know that he's a 3-point weapon, but his ability to be able to put the ball on the floor as well.
First points for McMahon, and he emerges with a loose ball. Dishes ahead, 4 throws it high, and the tip-in for Wara. Not the thunder that most were expecting, but it counts the same.
Good lob for Wara. Not being able to bring it down and knock and dunk that ball, but doing a good job of being able to control it and make the basket.
Little heat check there for Jalen. And Louisville has fought their way to the 2:30 mark, leading by 19. And Cunningham going back to the line.
You see, this is about what I would call an alley-oop instead of an alley. But Ward doing a good job of being able to keep that ball in play and go down. We talked before the game started that we thought that this K-State team would test Louisville. And I think that even up until this point, they show that they are a formidable adversary. But Louisville's done a good job of being able to play defense. I like the fact that they've had a lot of balance come into this game. We highlighted Jordan Wara and what he did, but it wasn't all him. I love Christian Cunningham, what he's done, Dwayne Sutton, and even Quan Four. I thought that he did a good job in the first half of being able to limit the guards from Kent State.
Wara clearly didn't want to foul. Easy 2 for Williamson. 81-64. 2 minutes to play. Oh, Sutton nearly stole that offensive rebound. Here's Walker the other way. On the attack, unable to spin it home. And Malik Williams finds a guard. Cardinals are going to improve to 7-0 here at the KFC Yum Center this year. They're going to win for the 5th time in their last 6 games. And they're going to snap Kent State's winning streak at 6 in a row. Golden Flashes have the rubber match of a 3-year series with Oregon State this Friday out in Corvallis.
I remember earlier in the year when I was reading some press clippings about Chris Mack's hire, and the expectation at the beginning of the year wasn't really that big because they thought, well, what he had coming back and bringing in, that they thought it would take a year. But I think that Chris Mack has done an amazing job already in the fact that he's taking a blend of what was left over, brought in some new talent, and his coaching style. I think that it's been an amazing hire, and right now expectations are probably, that bar is going to rise up as you get to conference play.
Brian, you and I are privileged to go to shoot-arounds and watch different coaches around the league and around the country kind of do their thing in their element. One thing that Chris Mack did with his team that I don't know if I've seen anyone else do before, he would call out the play they were going to run, and then every player on the team would say the play in unison, kind of a chant almost. And it really felt like it kept everybody locked in. And it's a small thing. It's nothing major, but it's just something I don't feel like I've seen before.
Well, I think when you look at some of these coaches and you talk about being good teachers, he's one of those guys that does that and commit these details to memory. And by doing that, that makes everyone all unified on what they're doing. And to go back to the point, I've always thought that he was one of the better coaches in the country, and to be able to have another coach like that in the ACC says an awful lot about this conference.
Sutton and Four to the bench. Strong performances for each of them. Quan Four finishes with 9 points. Presuming he's done. The lead is 16 with 67 seconds left. After today, 2 more non-conference games against Robert Morris, and then another game against a team from the state of Kentucky. Williams, thinking thunder, unable to throw it down. One thing I bet Chris Mack will appreciate about his schedule is after the Kentucky game, win or lose, they've got basically 8 days before they play Miami at home. That's, no travel, except maybe giving the guys a little break for the holiday. But they'll have time to really kind of refocus for the most important part of the season, ACC play.
And when we talked to him after today's shoot-around, that's one of the things that he was looking forward to, is saying that with all of the games back-to-back, you have game on the weekend, game in the middle of the week, doesn't really give him enough time to really have practice time. And that's one of the things that it's always nice to have the games in the schedule they're playing. But looking forward to being able to go over some more detail in that stretch that they'll have for about a week.
So many difficult games. You look at the AP preseason top 25 teams on the schedule. Louisville more than anyone else in America, and that doesn't include games like, the game against Lipscomb and the game against Kent State today that arrived at 8-1.
Well, one of the things too, a few weeks ago, Talk about a good win that they had in the ACC Big Ten Challenge, beating a really good Michigan State team. Narrow loss to Marquette, and then obviously Tennessee.